This is my Farmall 140, which I just bought in December of 2025. I bought this tractor to replace my 48 Super A because basically the transmission grenaded on that thing. So I had seen this coming up for sale in auction, and I thought it might be a nice tractor to buy. And it looked a little worse for wear from the pictures. I thought I might be able to get a good deal on it. So I ended up buying this at auction, and again, it only paid, I think, $1,200 for it maybe. And for what it is, I think it's worth at least double that. I did have to do quite a bit of work to it to get it to look the way it is now. And this is all original paint, and that's kind of the way I wanted to keep it looking. I did repaint a few things, mainly the grill and the emblems. I'll kind of show you here what all I did to it and how it's running today. So starting at the front, I did repaint the grill, the cream part I should say, as well as the emblem. I did replace kind of that chicken wire stuff in behind there. It was torn and I felt it was just best to redo that. I also painted the emblems. One of the coolest things I did to this, I actually found an original dealer sticker, which I'll show here. And by looking at it, I was able to get these reproduction decals made off eBay actually. And the cool thing is this dealership, Cope and Weaver Company, was in Willow Street, and I actually bought this tractor in that area, so I know this tractor was sold new there and actually never left the area. And the little information I did get about this when I bought it is that this tractor was bought and used primarily to cultivate tobacco, which I thought was pretty neat. The biggest problem I actually had with this tractor was that the radiator leaked. I've never had to do this before, but I actually found a radiator shop who was able to reseal it for me, and they kind of repainted everything and sealed it all up for around $200, which I felt was pretty reasonable. And this tractor did run when I bought it, but it did not run very well. I'll get to that on the other side. The carburetor actually was not the problem. It was more of the ignition system. It charges very well, and kind of the theme of this was to use a lot of parts from my Super A to include on this one. So these front tires were actually on the Super A, as well as the rear tires and wheels. This tractor had decent Firestone tires. It's just I felt, I have these brand new tires sitting around, I might as well use them. I did add the wheel weights to the front and painted those. It did have the cultivators on. I currently have my bar there in the center because I'm going to use this to plant potatoes at some point. Neat thing is too, it still has a lot of the original decals. I know this kind of look is not for everyone, but it's only original paint once. Some would argue it's not much paint, but hey, I like the look of it. So the battery box is also off my Super A, as well as the rear rock shaft here. The one it had on it was actually for like a plow. It was one of those split rock shafts. I just wanted mine on. I felt it'd work better for this application. This belt pulley it did not have on. I actually bought this at an auction in pieces. I put all new bearings and seals in it and added to the tractor. I just thought it was kind of cool. You don't see many 140s with belt pulleys. This drawbar was the original drawbar to the tractor. It was not on it when I bought it. Again, I have all the original cultivators that came with this thing. It's just I don't currently have them on for what I'm using it for right now. I did make a bracket for the slow moving vehicle sign and mounted the tail light. The tail light was kind of just hodgepodge mounted. It did not look right to me, so I redid that. And as far as I know, this is the original seat to the tractor. The cushion's in pretty good shape. I mean, it's a little torn. For now, I think it'll work for what I'm looking to do. On the right side of the tractor now, I did add a second set of wheel weights to both sides. I figured I had these, there's no sense leaving them laying around. Might as well put them to use. Also, I changed the steering wheel. The original steering wheel was kind of damaged, and I felt might as well just put a new one on. I did change the ignition switch and the light switch. All the lights now work. The starter had a issue with the starter switch, so this is actually the starter off my old Super A, and it now starts very nicely. I did make a step. Again, I like to make those for all my tractors. If you don't have these cultivator arms on, it makes it a lot easier to get on. Probably the biggest change I made to this is the ignition system. Some people might not agree with this, saying it's going backwards, but I put a magneto on this. I was able to use the original wiring harness, and I really didn't have to change much. I like magnetos. Some people don't like them. I just felt it's pretty reliable. They're not hard to work on, and I don't know, I just kind of like the looks of them. I've never seen another 140 with a magneto. I just thought it'd be something cool to do. So have all new plug wires, plugs, put the magneto on. And I actually added a starting handle holder there for the hand crank, so you can hand start this. I don't think a lot of 140s came with hand crank to begin with, so this one now has one. I also put my muffler on off my old Super A, and I think it has a pretty good look, this tractor. Again, some people like restored tractors. I kind of like, old patina looking ones, and I feel that this is the look that this one has. So I'll start it up here and I'll show you how it runs. So it runs pretty good. It has a lot more power than my old Super A did, and I'm really looking forward to getting this out and using it up in the garden. Thanks for watching.